So, this is something I was never able to talk about on stream before, chat, but now it's released in that video, I can talk about it. Oh my god. The DDoS attack that hit TubNet. I think technically it was a DOS attack. I think it was a slow loris attack. Is technical terms. I don't really get what it means. But like, holy shit, man. Yeah, the DDoS attack was nuts. Dude, do you remember when we walked into that room? Tyler, you were already in the room, and you were, I think... You weren't pacing. No, the others were pacing. You were sat typing on your computer. And do you remember how, like, pin drop silent it was? Like, the aircon in the building had, like, gone off. And it was just, like, completely silent. It was dead quiet. I was trying to communicate with the team on what was going on. Yeah, it was so scary, man. Sorry, did CloudFlare actually disable DDoS protection during the attack? Did they explain why? So... basically, CloudFlare was unable to differentiate between the DDoS attack and genuine traffic. So rather than like blocking everyone, they decided to let everything in. So they effectively turned it off. Yeah. I didn't want to get too into like the nitty gritty specifics of the attack in the video because like there's so many like people don't generally know what a DDoS attack is. Like as a Twitch streamer, I'm very familiar with a DDoS attack, you I actually have DDoS protection on my home Wi-Fi because of you, but it's fine. Was this CloudFlare Spectrum? Yeah, this was CloudFlare Spectrum, but it was a fork of CloudFlare Spectrum, which was actually their quote, not mine, designed for Minecraft. And because it was designed and specialized for Minecraft, it was $20,000 a month. So we went with CloudFlare in the end, and dude, they mismanaged our account so many times. We paid for, I think we paid for 50 origins because Spectrum also auto load balances as well. So I think we paid for 50 origins and they only gave us 10. So we were working with the support to try to get the 50 origins we paid for like days, and they just wouldn't do it. And then one day they were like, oh yeah, we can do that. And I'm like, okay. And like actually when the DDoS attack happened and the server got knocked offline, our account rep was on a night out. I kid you not, man. I'm so glad I can rant about this bull now. Our account rep was literally on a night out. Like he was about to go out like drinking with mates, and he picked up the phone and I'm like, okay, well how the f are you meant to help us? Like, because it was like the crisis line, you know? How the f are you meant to help us if like you're ready to go out partying while we've been hit with this massive DDoS attack? And I'm like, all right, whatever. I was just so over it. I've never been more pissed off with a company in my life. By the way, this is a company that I committed $20,000 a month on a 12-month contract. So that's $240,000 that were committed to CloudFlare. And the guy who was supposed to be 24/7 on call, or like the team of people to react to our server, were going out partying. I'm like, yeah, that's really the crisis support hotline I was hoping for. Actually, CloudFlare, dude, I'm so mad with them. Well, the way we asked all of these questions and all of these things before signing the contract, and they're like, yeah, we do that so great. And then hits the fan, they mitigate 0.1% of the attack. I've got screenshots I can pull up to show you this. So the attack consisted of like, so you can see here, this is a total traffic draw. So this is the attack. It was 1.84 terabytes. I think this was the first smaller attack. Okay. This was the first smaller attack. So this was like the smaller of the three, because you had 3 spikes. It was 3 different attacks over the course of like, I think 20 minutes. So this is the first one, the first smaller. Yeah. So they sent roughly 1.84 terabytes of data, and CloudFlare let through 1.83 terabytes, and all of that is malicious data. And they were like bragging. They were like, oh yeah, we dropped 175.98 megabytes of that data. And I'm like, you stopped 0.1% of the DDoS attack, and you're bragging in email right now. You are not bragging to me in email that your DDoS mitigation protection dropped 0.1%. Actually go yourselves. Sorry. It irked me. It actually irked me, dude. Oh my god. And some of the calls I had. So you see, so guys, when do you think the DDoS attack started? Judging by this graph, like, oh dear. Yeah. So that was wave 1 of 3. I'm like, yeah, great, man. Great. I can talk about this now, which is nice. So this is traffic hitting our servers we were rented. This is before they got nulled. CloudFlare should have stopped this, because obviously we can detect malicious traffic on our end. So the amount of malicious traffic we detected, I think, is the orange. So you see the orange there? That's the malicious traffic, and the green is the genuine traffic. So if we could detect the malicious traffic for ourselves, why could CloudFlare not block it? And it's not even like they were being smart. It's not even like it was coming from thousands of different IP addresses. It was the same IP address, and it all linked to like the University of Chicago or something. Someone's put like a botnet on the University of Chicago. I'm like, oh my god, man. Like, yeah, whatever. Like, it's not even like it was multiple. It was one IP address. It was like, oh yeah, this is so normal. This one IP address has sent 1.8 terabytes of data. I'm like, yeah, thanks, CloudFlare. Really, yeah, Spectrum is really working, that's for sure. Dude, I'm so glad I can finally talk about this. I literally finally got permission to talk about this. I've got another graph here. No. Okay, so this is more of our CloudFlare. So you can see up there, it was, yeah, so you can see the 3 spikes on there. 3 spikes on there. That is 25.1 million packets per second, which is a big f***ing attack, by the way. Like, this is genuinely mind-boggling. It was the same address, and they couldn't deal with it effectively. That's so bad. This is what I'm saying, man. Like, every other server, Minecraft server I spoke to that, like, used CloudFlare, at the time, I think it was Minehut and Hypixel. It's fine for them. And it was just f***ed for us, for, like, some reason. And I'm like, okay. Loving life. Stop shifting the blame to CloudFlare for server failures. You put minigames in front of people that didn't want to play minigames. There's so many. No, dude, I'm not. Okay, let's come. I'm talking merely about why the server was unstable and unable to launch. And we had to spend so much more time working on fixing infrastructure things that wouldn't have been an issue if the service that worked for everyone else. No, there's many reasons that TubNet isn't in the place where I wanted it to be on launch. So one of the main ones is, yeah, I made a minigame server, but the majority of my viewers and stuff come from an SMP background. So a persistent game mode would have been more fitting. 100%. I agree with you 100% there. But what I'm saying is, I'm not shifting. I don't think the server's failed by any means, because, like, in my mind, TubNet was a dream of mine, and I've always wanted to make a Minecraft server, and I've done it, and it feels awesome, regardless of how many people are online or not. So, yeah, Spacebound would work. I really think that should be a massive focus, in my opinion. That's super duper cool. Yeah, Spacebound is actually, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, like, Spacebound has, as we've been working on TubNet, obviously the server still has a burn rate, we're still paying for stuff, so the most important thing is getting the server to, okay, Tyler's in chat, I'm not going to be talking about it whatsoever. Don't leak, okay, sorry. Yeah, Spacebound was always my favorite part of TubNet as well, and I wanted to launch with it, but some of the reason we couldn't is because of these attacks. We had to spend so much more time doing other stuff, where that time would have been spent on that game. I knew what my community liked, but then I had all of these people who run much more bigger, successful servers telling me what the way forward is, and I trusted the advice I was given from the people who knew more. But I just realized that, like, I should have probably catered more to the audience I was trying to promote to, which feels like a no-brainer, but in the time when there's so much thought, so many different things going on, there's, like, so much going on. But yeah, no, this isn't me shifting the blame to CloudFlare by any point. This is me being pissed off at CloudFlare because they cost me tens of thousands of dollars to basically do exactly the opposite of what they promised to. While TCP Shield, we use them now, and they're awesome, and they have never dropped the ball once. At the time, we were, like, for instance, on our beta launch, we had 27,000 people try to join to the server, and that's when these attacks happened, by the way, when we had 27,000 people trying to join. Like, I had not seen TCP Shield deal with a player count that large before, where I had seen CloudFlare deal with a player count that large. So we went for the more guaranteed, even though they server. It's just, you learn from mistakes. That's generally what this boils down to. I had a really, like, someone that really actually clutched up morale-wise was Simon from Hypixel. I had a call with him, and he was telling me about the story of Hypixel, and he, like, told me all these things, and I was like, oh, and I was like, he's actually the GOAT, man. I literally, he was so lovely. He was so lovely. He was like, yeah, no, man. Like, this was after all of this hit the fan as well. He was just like so inspiring and nice and actually the GOAT. I'm being so for real. Yeah, so the thing is, on the launch of TubNet, we had 4,000 players when we actually got it published. But like, so you say, why not make it small and plan everything out? If I had made it small and like capped it at 1,000 players and really worked on front-end content and stuff and ignored the back-end infrastructure, the amount of tech debt to then scale that, to be able to support higher player counts, would have taken so long that the server would have been stagnated with content for a considerable amount of time. This is the issue, because tech debt is such a issue as well. Because as soon as it's a live ops service, you can't push hotfix after hotfix after hotfix, because sometimes you just make the problem worse if it's not like accurately QA'd. Tech debt is, I believe, yeah. Tyler, who's a Carrot Chops in chat, knows all about tech debt. Eternals is the best hosting. So true, so based, so real. The decision was we couldn't make it small without it potentially crashing on launch because of people trying to join. And if it had been stable on launch, the amount of tech debt would have mean the features of the servers would have been stagnated for months, maybe even half a year, if we hadn't have built the infrastructure to scale in the first place. Did you sue them? No. Dude, so in the CloudFlare contract, there's something called an SLA, where technically CloudFlare in the contract have an SLA that they'll keep your service online for like 99.99% of the time. But what they failed to mention in that contract is that SLA only applies to DNS. Not actually the that f***ing matters. It applies to DNS. Like, what the f***, man? What the f***? So yeah. Whatever. Donor Ward, it's okay, but I'm here. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do it. I was 4 months after. I'm really glad you came out with the documentary because there was so much stuff couldn't talk about and the community were demanding answers, so thank you for this. Yeah, dude, the worst thing about this and all of this is that the community were hammering me for responses for what to say, but I couldn't give it. Okay, here's the thing. So if I go to the TubNet YouTube channel, you can see this. Where is it? Videos. Yeah, disappointing news. This one. This video here is annoyingly vague, all right? And it's annoyingly vague and possible. And I got messages from developers and server owners in the space being like, well, this doesn't sound right. And it had to be vague because at the time I wasn't allowed to mention the DDoS attack because it was like being investigated and like, so I was like, well, I'm not allowed to talk about it. No one's letting me talk about it. Yeah, this video, you could see behind my, look, I hadn't shaved. Look at how disheveled I look. It was like one of those like ransom videos where it's like, blink twice if you need help. And I'm like, please guys, please understand. I cannot talk about the genuine reason we're not able to launch. Please just understand. I'm sorry. There's even stuff now about it that I'm unable to say. And I will never be able to say. There's like now that I will never be able to say, and I can't even hint at it. But like, I can CloudFlare all I want now. Yeah. The DDoS attack was probs a 9-year-old who got a script from his Roblox girlfriend. It's from 2009. Holy. No, the DDoS attack was actually a botnet. So what we learned about the DDoS attack from tracking the IP is that the DDoS attack was a botnet. So someone had sent a virus around all the computers at the University of Chicago, and they used all of the computers in the University of Chicago to just send requests. That's why it all came from the same IP address, because all of these computers were connected to the same network. So the public IP address of the University of Chicago is the same. So yeah, so there was a while in the office where I was just cursing out the University of Chicago. Yeah, thanks Chicago. Basically, for those of you that don't know where botnets are, it's where someone designs a virus to sleep on the background of a computer and only be activated like once. Like once, like in a blue moon to do a thing. And there's websites which exist where you can basically buy access to these botnets. And for instance, like for the attack of the size they did on our servers, to hire that botnet to do that would have cost them like, it was something like $2,000. Someone spent, like, the thing that drives me insane about it is like the price to hire that botnet. Like someone paid $2,000 to DDoS my Minecraft server. And I'm like, that's funny. Sorry. I'm like, wow. Someone, yeah, that's insane. Yeah, so like I did some botnet comparison shopping after the attack on TubNet, and I was like, oh wow, that's how I found out it would have cost them like 2,000. By the way, I just want to say, this is very illegal, by the way. You can actually go to jail for doing this. Like, I know I'm talking about it quite lightheartedly, like it's second nature, but like, to actually pay for these services and DOS attack and DDoS attacks, that's actually illegal. Like, the NSA, if you live in the US, will just come to your door and arrest you. So like, I don't want anyone thinking it's funny, haha, do that for the lols. Tubbo, what did you change the server infrastructure when you realized CloudFlare couldn't protect you? So, right. So this is, okay, I'm not going to say where we got this from because I don't want to get in trouble. But we realized, for some reason, Minecraft servers get DDoS attacked more than anything else. I think the largest recorded DDoS attack in history is actually on Hypixel, if I have a look. Yeah, February 2022. Okay, to put it into perspective, the largest recorded DDoS attack on AWS was 2.3 terabits per second. And that's the largest one. That's the largest one on public record, okay? Ours was, let me have a look. I've got the graph over here. Yeah, so ours was 244 gigabits per second, which is roughly 10%, if I've done that right. Yeah, 10% of the world's largest DDoS attack on public record. What the f? So that was exciting. That was a good day for me. I enjoyed that day in the office. I really did. I didn't go back to my bedroom and kick many holes in the wall, and then I had to hire a plasterer to repair my bedroom in Florida. Yeah, it was fine. Destroying company property? No. This was a house I was renting, okay? Because I stayed in the US on the year TubNet was released. I was in the US for 28 weeks. So this was a house where I was staying. I was rented. I was just being a little bit dramatic. I did go back into my room and I had a bit of a scream. I'm not gonna lie. That time was an awful time in my life, man. The TubNet DDoS attack, and dude, so much in my life was going like, it was so hard, man. I don't even know. I think that's got to be the worst mentally I was ever doing. There was the massive DDoS attack that happened, and I was like, my project's a failure. And then obviously I got the devastated news about techno, and that was crushing, man. And it was like, dude, that time was tough.